anchor Jorge Ramos has his own tense relationship with the president-elect. You may remember he was kicked out of a Trump press conference back in the summer of 2015 when he tried to ask about the candidate's immigration policy. Jorge Ramos joins us tonight. Jorge, some of these acts, these hateful acts that we've seen over the last couple of days, graffiti, things like that, how much responsibility do you think President-elect Trump, his rhetoric on the campaign trail, how much does his rhetoric bear for them?
I think he's responsible for that. He emboldened many groups that right now are expressing their hate and dislike of minorities. When he said during the campaign that Mexican immigrants were criminals and rapists, words are important, words matter, words have consequences, and what we're seeing right now is precisely that. If there's a headline for the Hispanic community right now, it would be fear. Fear of hate, fear of reprisals, fear of, I just saw a video from a Michigan school in which some teenagers were chanting, build the wall. I mean, that language comes from Donald Trump, and the problem is that so far, Donald Trump hasn't denounced that, and that's the problem.
Monica Langley of the Wall Street Journal, I spoke to her earlier today. She interviewed Donald Trump. She asked him whether he thought his rhetoric had gone too far in the campaign, and his response was simply, no, I won.
Well, he's responsible for his words. We have now a president-elect who made racist comments when he was running for the White House. We have a candidate who made sexist remarks during the campaign. So I think he's responsible for that. And not only that, I think he has emboldened many groups. He has, before the election, many people were saying things in their homes that were private, that were politically incorrect for a reason. And now exactly that kind of language is what we are hearing. And after the election, many people think that it is okay to say those things, and it is not. It is not. Now we have a president-elect who's going through the process of being normalized by the press and by the political establishment. But we still have to remember who he is and what he said in the past.
In the Wall Street Journal interview, he also talked about the protests that we've seen over the last few days. He said, quote, I want a country that loves each other. I want to stress that, and adding that the best way to ease tension would be to, quote, bring in jobs. Is that, you think, the best way to ease in tension, or do you think Donald Trump needs to, at some point, address these protests or address the fears that some people in America have?
The fear is real. Again, when he said that, for instance, with Latinos and immigrants, when he said that he wants to deport 11 million in 2 years, that's about 15,000 every single day. That's a real fear. When he says that he wants to repeal executive action, and that's going to affect 700,000 dreamers, that's real fear. So I think, yes, he has to address the fact that something is wrong, that there are millions of Americans who didn't vote for him, and that this expression is being shown all around the country.
I remember reading some of your tweets Election Day. You were saying it was the day Latinos would remember who was with them, who had insulted them.
Yeah.
You were looking how Latinos are voting in Florida, North Carolina, and Nevada, saying they can decide the election. And in part, they did decide the election. They decided the election for Donald Trump. I mean, he got a higher turnout among Latinos, and I think certainly many people had anticipated.
Absolutely. We were wrong. That's it. We were wrong. I think that we overestimated the importance of the Latino vote, and we thought that the Latino vote was going to stop Donald Trump from making it to the White House, and we were mistaken. That's for sure. There was a hidden vote within the Hispanic community, people, Latinos, who didn't want to say openly that maybe they were ashamed of saying during the campaign that they were going to vote for Donald Trump, and at the end, they did.
In August, you wrote an op-ed, and I remember you said Judgment Day is coming, and you asked citizens and other journalists the question, will you have peace of mind come November 9th? I wonder, did you have peace of mind come November 9th, you personally?
I am. I'm in peace. I think I did what I had to do. I think I asked tough questions on Donald Trump. I was ejected from a press conference. We produced a documentary called Hate Rising that everybody can watch right now on the influence of Donald Trump in alt-right movements. I think as a journalist, I did what I could. And again, when you see racism, discrimination, corruption, I think as a journalist you have to take a stand, and I took a stand. I don't regret that. As a matter of fact, I think we need tougher questions. I think one of the mistakes that we made as journalists is not only that we didn't see the resentment growing in many corners of the United States, and the fact that we relied on polls and the polls were wrong, but also that we didn't ask tougher questions sooner. I think many journalists reacted too late to Donald Trump, but I'm in peace. I think I did what I had to do, and I'm going to continue doing that. I'll position myself on the other side of Donald Trump. There's a beautiful word in Spanish that it's contrapoder, which is to be on the other side of power. I think that's where we have to be as journalists. That's where I'm going to be in the next 4 years.
Jorge.